The college football season doesn't start for another 4 months, and the Heisman ceremony isn't for another 7 months. Still, it's never too early to take a look at what the odds are looking like. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the 10 betting favorites to win the Heisman Trophy. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. The odds we're going to be looking at today are what currently are posted on FanDuel. We'll start off at number 10, where we actually have a three-way tie. Drew Aller, Joe Milton, and Cade Klubnik are currently 25-1 to win the Heisman. This makes sense as all three quarterbacks are pretty much dart throws at this point, though 25-1 seems pretty high for some of these players. Joe Milton is the only quarterback we've really seen a large enough sample size from. I think he's going to be solid for Tennessee, but he's going to have to be on par with the season we saw from Hendon Hooker to have a shot. Cade Klubnik makes sense as Clemson is likely going to be in the playoff discussion all season, but what we saw from him at the end of last year doesn't really leave us too encouraged. With that being said, he'll have the entire offseason to improve his game. Finally, you have Penn State quarterback Drew Aller, who will be taking over for Sean Clifford. He's definitely the best quarterback they've had in some time, but it's hard to imagine a Penn State quarterback being in the Heisman running by the end of the season. Again, that's why they're all 25-1 odds. We'll move to number 9 with Kyle McCord, who currently has 20-1 odds. He's expected to be Ohio State's starting quarterback. If that's the case, 20-1 may be quite the steal. For what seems like every year now, Ohio State's quarterback just lights up the stat sheet. We haven't seen much of McCord to really make a determination on how he's going to do, but look at the weapons he's going to have surrounding him. He's going to be set up to thrive and put up really good numbers in 2023. Again, assuming he's named the starting quarterback. Another quarterback with 20-1 odds is Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. Although he appeared in 10 games last year, it still feels like we've barely gotten to see him play and haven't gotten a chance to see him reach his full potential. Last season for the Longhorns, Ewers completed 58% of his passes. He threw for 2,200 yards with 15 passing touchdowns and 6 interceptions. The start of the season was great for him, but he had a 4-game stretch in November in which he didn't throw for 200 yards in a single game and only threw a combined 3 passing touchdowns. This should be the best Texas team we've seen in some time this upcoming season. It seems like it's now or never for Ewers to prove he's a Heisman caliber quarterback. We have 3 quarterbacks all tied with 15-1 odds. We'll start with Notre Dame quarterback Sam Hartman. After a successful career with Wake Forest, he decided to transfer this offseason. We've seen the numbers he's capable of putting up. Now, going to Notre Dame, he'll have a realistic shot of being in the Heisman discussion. Over the last 2 seasons at Wake Forest, Hartman has thrown for 8,000 yards with 77 passing touchdowns. Those numbers are just insane. What's even more insane is the fact he didn't even finish inside the top 10 of Heisman voting for either season. That's largely due to Wake Forest not being a great team, even though they actually won 11 games in 2021. Anyways, we know that Hartman is going to put up great numbers once again if he's able to stay healthy. Looking at Notre Dame's schedule, Hartman will have plenty of chances to have his Heisman moments. This one is actually pretty shocking to me as LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels is at 15-1 as well. It didn't seem like it was that long ago when he was at Arizona State, and I was saying he was a Heisman sleeper when he had 150-1 odds to start the year. Now, at LSU, he's one of the betting favorites. Daniels had the best season of his career in 2022. He threw for nearly 3,000 yards while completing a very nice 69% of his passes. He threw 17 passing touchdowns and had only 3 interceptions. His damage came on the ground, where he rushed for 900 yards with 11 scores. He's one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in all of college football, but he's going to have to do much more through the air if he wants a shot at winning the Heisman. I think he has to throw for at least 3,000 yards with 30 passing touchdowns if he wants to have a realistic chance of winning the Heisman. The final player at 15-1 odds is North Carolina quarterback Drake May. Honestly, his odds should be a lot higher, as he may finish with the most passing yards and passing touchdowns in 2023. It all comes down to how North Carolina does next year. In 2022, May emerged as one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football. He threw for over 4,300 yards, leading the ACC and the fourth most in the country. His 38 passing touchdowns also led the conference and were the fifth most in the country. May also did damage on the ground, as he rushed for 700 yards with 7 rushing scores. His 5,000 yards of total offense led all of college football, and his 45 touchdowns responsible for were the third most. His numbers will be there, he'll just need to get North Carolina to the ACC title game at the minimum. Up next are 3 players who are all tied with 12-1 odds. We'll start with the player who received Heisman votes last season in Washington quarterback Michael Penix Jr. He finished 8th in voting after a breakout 2022 campaign. He led the Pac-12 and was second in the nation with 4,600 passing yards. His 362 completions also led the Pac-12 and were the fourth most in the nation. After hearing those numbers, it almost seems underwhelming that he threw only 31 passing touchdowns. Still, it was a remarkable season for Penix and for Washington. He'll be lighting up the stat sheet once again, but the only question is, can the Huskies replicate what they did last year? This one may come as a bit of a surprise, but Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis is tied for the second best odds. After a couple of quiet seasons with the Seminoles, Travis really emerged last season and put together a really underrated year. He threw for 3,200 yards with 24 passing touchdowns and only 5 interceptions. He also added more than 400 yards on the ground, averaging more than 5 yards a carry with 7 rushing scores. He's really going to have to improve on those numbers, especially being this high in the odds. I know a lot of people are high on Florida State for 2023, but at 12-1 odds, this is asking the Seminoles to nearly win the ACC and asking that Jordan Travis improves his numbers by about 25%. It's possible, but at second best odds, it seems to be asking for quite a lot. The final player with 12-1 odds is the GOAT. He's back for one more season, and yup, that's legendary Oregon quarterback Bo Nix. Personally, I have no idea how Bo Nix didn't finish inside the top 10 of Heisman voting in 2022. He completed 72% of his passes, leading the Pac-12 and the second best mark in all of college football. He threw for 3,600 yards with 29 passing touchdowns while rushing for over 500 yards with 14 scores. Nix was 5th in the country with his 44 touchdowns responsible for and was 10th in total yards. He averaged 8.2 yards per play, leading the Pac-12 and the 4th best mark in the entire country. The disrespect to the GOAT was just absurd. He'll be back for one more run at it. Maybe this year he'll finally get the respect he deserves from the voters. Well, that brings us to our current betting favorite. And it's not even close when it comes to odds, as he's currently listed at 5-1. USC quarterback Caleb Williams is currently the betting favorite. He won the Heisman last year, and many expect him to take home the hardware for the second consecutive season. Williams was fantastic for the Trojans, especially in the second half. For the season, he threw for 4,500 yards while completing 67% of his passes. He threw 42 touchdowns with only 5 interceptions. He also added 400 yards on the ground with 10 rushing scores. The only reason I'm hesitant on Caleb Williams winning the award again is because he's likely going to have to improve on those numbers if he wants a shot at winning. If his numbers take even a slight hit, are the voters really going to give him the Heisman once again? Maybe the competition isn't as strong, and they do, but it really feels like Caleb Williams is going to have an even better season across the board, which seems like a very difficult task considering his numbers from this past season. So, what are your thoughts on the Heisman betting odds? Was there a player you thought was too high or too low? Whoever it is, let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.